drilled out of the wall. It's a Polish artist called Marcin Dudek. It became this piece, which is a kind of barbell. So poetically, like lifting, building your muscle or building your culture with the actual weight of history, the weight of the walls. Marcin's talking about his approach to his art as anti-ready-made. And he says anti-ready-made for him has three functions. The first one is the economic function. If you can't afford the ready-made product, you have to think about how to make it yourself. So, for example, he grows up in Poland, and he said there are a lot of guys had gyms in their basements, but they were gyms made with things you could find around and building weights. And he compared that then to building not just the muscle of your body, but your culture, your bigger organism, all of it. And I love that approach. The second thing after economic reasoning is that if you do have the money to buy the ready-made product, or you do have the money to outsource certain parts of your practice, you risk corrupting your skills and not knowing how to do things. So his way to defend against the potential corruption of his skills and to keep learning constantly is to outsource nothing. I mean, every part of the work is done by his hand, his sweat. I'd say the only exception to that is conversation, because he's very open to the compromise of ideas, to the evolution of a work through a conversation into input. But the rest, everything is handmade. And that piece too, I showed it to some young collectors, and they told me, you're crazy, you just cut out your wall, you'll never be able to sell that, it's completely ephemeral. But it was the first time we sold a piece to a very serious collector, and it ended up in a private museum. And yeah, it's been a great work for Marcin. They got a lot of people to hear about his practice. And when I say that too, like, let's be clear, we sold the piece for €3,200. We share that. After that is independence in Belgium. We both pay over 50% to the tax, plus our charges every 3 months, so like 60% in total. So when we talk about selling an artwork for over €3,000, which is a lot of money, it's not a lot of money in the pocket of the artist or of myself. This, however, was a job that brought a little more money. Well, I'll have to go back. And that's a company in Brussels called Digital Europe. And they're the lobbyists for the tech industry and the European Commission and Parliament. And they invited us in to do art direction and decorate their offices. And they said, you know, we spend a lot of time in our office, and often with the curtains shut like this, but sometimes with them open, and people are here all the time. We're having meetings, like full 12-hour meetings, and it's gray. So we bought some plants. And after we bought some plants, we thought, like, well, what else can we do to give a little inspiration to our conversation, to our staff, to change the feeling of the place? So I went in, and the first conversation was really uninspiring. He told me he wanted pretty, shiny, decorative, nothing that could offend anybody, nothing that had a message or a comment. And that was frustrating. But I could